Hey there, Kim here, Director of Communications for the Arizona State Senate Republicans, and joining me today is Senate President Pro Tem Vince Leach, District 11. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
Great place to be.
All right, so you are the Vice Chair of Appropriations and Finance, but your background is sales and business. What drove you to join these committees?
Well, a couple of two or three things. First of all, in my business, in my real life, before I retired, I worked with businesses, and while it was in the sales orientation and sales management aspect, many of the businesses ran into financial difficulties. And so I was almost forced to learn financial statements and cash flow, and just because I had businesses that were going broke that distributed my product. Fast forward, then I retired. Like 3 days into it, I got involved with the county, the local county, and they were proposing a tax increase. And I said, well, this can't be right. And so we started with a group, and we went for every 2 weeks. We went there to the county supervisor board and had our say about lowering taxes. That took about 3 years, and we finally got taxes reduction. That was in 2009, 10, 11. Then I decided to run for office through a lot of moving parts. But I was running for office. I was running for the House at that time. And somebody asked me at a meet and greet, well, what do you want to do when you get there? And what committee do you want to serve on? And I had not thought that through. Fortunately, I was at a meeting within a week after that, and I met with a former Speaker of the House, and that question came up. And that person said, you need to be on appropriations and fiscal policy tax. He said, because you will touch everything in state government. You may not be an expert in healthcare or education or transportation or commerce, but you will have your finger on the pulse of where money is coming from and then where money is going. That led to running it through the think chamber. That came out as I work for the taxpayer, and you've heard me talk about the taxpayer. We have many, many organizations that represent different groups, and all of them sort of touch on the taxpayer. But I was in a meeting this morning, for example, and I asked the people on a one bill, how does this benefit the taxpayers in LD11? That's a specific question that I would like answered, because that's the question that I get. And so appropriation does that. Tax and fiscal policy or finance does that for the taxpayers of LD11 and for the state. It can be kind of mundane. You kind of get into taxes and into the weeds a little bit. So you won't see it on TV a lot. You won't see it in the news, because when you're talking about government property lease excise taxes, it's kind of, you can't hardly get it out, let alone explain what it is. Right. What the deseg tax is all about. That's buried. People didn't even know that they were paying a desegregation tax. So that's where it's led. That's how I got involved in it. This is my 8th session. 6 on finance, and this is my 8th session on appropriations.
What would you want the taxpayers to know about how you're working for them?
Oh, that's a pretty large question to get to unpack.
I imagine you saved them a lot of money.
We did this last year particularly. They know, because when they see me, when I come out to speak to groups, which I have this standing rule, I'll speak to any size group as long as it's over one person. But I always talk about the financial end of the state of Arizona. I was on the radio this morning early, and that was the first question. And this radio announcer obviously knows that I'm on tax and fiscal policy appropriations. And he asked me the health of the economy in the state of Arizona, because he knows I have those numbers, that I'm ready to talk about that. So my taxpayers, the people in my district, can understand that I'm working on it all the time. I was asked a question about something that I had no idea. And I said, you know, I spend all my time on taxes and fiscal policy and how we spend your money. In fact, I tell people when I'm face to face with them, they say, well, what do you do there? I said, I work on 2 committees. One is tax and fiscal policy, the other is appropriations. And their eyes kind of glaze over. And I said, let's put it this way. This is how we rip money out of your billfold, and this is where we spend it. And the light goes on that they say, yeah, he's doing the good work.
What's something that taxpayers here in Arizona can look forward to from you in this next session?
Well, I think we're blessed. The economy, the people of Arizona are just doing a tremendous job going to work. Our economy is booming. I would like to think that we can continue to lower taxes across all levels, whether it be business property tax, whether it be property tax just on regular people, on homes. I would like to think that we can accelerate the income tax reduction that we passed last year. Those are the things that are high on my list. On the other side, the things that get lost and people don't see is paying down debt. And people don't see that. I mean, we paid $1 billion of pension debt down this last year. And that really gets into the weeds, and it's not very exciting, but it saves us $126 million a year that we don't have to pay out and basically increase costs.
And that's money that can go to other important programs.
It's money that can go to other important programs, money that's freed up, and that's a benefit to the state. Once again, that's not something that's all, the steak isn't sizzling there, but it's basic to good economics. Pay yourself first.
All right, Senate President Pro Temp Vince Leach from District 11, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.